back. He's not on radio.
The film opens on a dark, stormy night deep within a dense forest. A rescue team and local police officers are searching for a group of hikers trapped by a violent storm. Due to the extreme weather, the search is forced to pause.
This is Rescue Team 1, Lima Charlie.
Rescue off. We're trying to take shelter.
From a helicopter above, the rescue crew radios their teammates on the ground, urging them to retreat and seek higher ground to avoid an incoming flash flood. Just as the team begins to withdraw, a lone man on horseback is seen continuing the search. Despite the floodwaters approaching from a distance, the rider manages to rescue two hikers who are on the brink of being swept away.
Oh, we gotta get going. There's a lot of water coming. Get on. Hold tight as you can.
Wife got killed in the first wave. Husband ran away.
Thank you.
"11 years have passed since that night in the forest. The horseman was John Rambo. He now lives a quiet life in a remote countryside village, tending to his family's horse ranch. He shares his home with Maria, a longtime housekeeper who has looked after the Rambo family for years and is considered part of the family. Also living with them is Gabriella, Maria's granddaughter, whom John loves and treats as his own daughter.
Did you know what you wanted to do at my age?
Even before your age.
It's crazy. I'm about to start college.
Yeah, I wanted to be a soldier.
At my age?
In his spare time, John often retreats to a secret underground tunnel beneath his property, which he has transformed into a workshop. There, he crafts weapons such as bows and blades, his way of channeling past traumas and personal interests. One day, Gabriella tells John that her friend Giselle has managed to track down the address of her biological father in Mexico. John doesn't take the news well. He reminds Gabriella that her father abandoned her and her mother long ago, leaving them to struggle alone until her mother died of cancer. But Gabriella insists on meeting him, wanting answers for his disappearance.
Because I found my father.
Why would you want to do that?
Uncle John, I have to do this.
There's no reason for a man to throw his family away. He's lucky he has.
People don't just act bad for no reason. I need you to trust me. I need you to...
As long as I'm around, he's never gonna hurt you again. Gabrielle, I care for you like a daughter.
I'm gonna go to bed.
The next morning, a heated argument breaks out between Maria and Gabriella. John intervenes and gently reminds Gabriella of the promises they made to each other, urging her not to go. However, Gabriella remains determined to confront her father. Maria, knowing the man's violent past, forbids her from going and reveals that he once hit Gabriella's mother in the hospital while she was seriously ill. Despite the warning, Gabriella departs for Mexico.
Jamás fue al hospital a ver a tu madre mientras estaba muriendo de cáncer. Quiere tener derecho en poner sus ojos sobre ti.
You're right. I won't go. Okay.
Upon arriving in Mexico, Gabriella meets up with Giselle, and together they head to the place where her father now lives. Back at the ranch, John grows uneasy when Gabriella hasn't returned by late afternoon.
I appreciate you so much for helping me find my dad. Me la voy a chingar. Luego sí, hombre.
That evening, Gabriella finally comes face to face with her father, who now lives in a hotel and has remarried. Their conversation leaves Gabriella heartbroken and disappointed. She wants to return home, but Giselle insists it's too late to travel and convinces her to stay the night. To lift her spirits, Giesel takes Gabriella to a nightclub.
We're all grown up now, Gabriella.
I need to talk to you.
Okay.
Why did you leave us?
Who I never wanted. And realized you don't mean anything to me anymore. You don't need to come back. Any more questions?
I gotta go back home tonight. Fuck that! You're not gonna drive home. We'll do something to get this out of your mind.
There, they encounter a man named Flaco who approaches Gabriella and, without her knowing, slips drugs into her drink. The scene shifts to Hugo Martinez, the leader of a human trafficking syndicate in Mexico. He is in the middle of a business discussion with his associate, Don Miguel, about expanding their operations. Hugo is assisted by his younger brother, Victor Martinez.
Dame 3 minutitos, Don Miguel. Me parto la madre en la calle para conseguirte las mejores putas.
Cano, sáquense de aquí.
Meanwhile, back at the ranch, a frantic Maria contacts John and tells him that Gabriella went to Mexico and hasn't returned, based on what she learned from Giesel. Seeing Gabriella as his own daughter, John wastes no time and sets out for Mexico to find her.
What happened, John? Please, John, regrésamela.
You find her.
Elsewhere, Gabriella wakes up in a haze. She finds herself imprisoned with several other young women who are about to be forced into sex work. Victor threatens them, promising death to anyone who tries to escape or resist.
Si una de ustedes pinches perras y me las voy a cargar.
Upon arriving in Mexico, John immediately sought out Gabriella's father to ask about her whereabouts. Unfortunately, the man claimed he had no idea where she was.
I don't know anything.
All this shit is with you.
John then went to Giesel's house. Giesel explained that the last time she saw Gabriella was at a nightclub, and that they had gotten separated afterward. She insisted she had no idea where Gabriella was now. But John wasn't easily fooled, especially after noticing Gabriella's bracelet on Giesel's wrist. With a threatening tone, he forced Giesel to take him to the nightclub where they were last seen together.
Do what happened?
Because I drank too much. It happens.
We should talk at table with any guys.
What?
Where'd you get this?
Give it to me, man.
You're gonna take me to that club.
Fuck you. Get out of my place.
I'm gonna hurt you real bad.
At the club, Giesel pointed out the man who was last seen talking to Gabriella. John told her to leave. After watching the man Flaco for a while, John followed him as he left the club with a woman. In the parking lot, an unfamiliar woman observed them from a distance. John then ambushed Flaco, beat him up, and forced him to reveal where Gabriella was being held.
¿Dónde está?
Yo no conozco esa pinche morra, cabrón.
Start telling me where she is or I'll break it off.
After learning where Gabriella was, John took down Flaco and rushed to the location. However, Victor's men had already been tracking John. They began tailing him and eventually blocked off all escape routes. John found himself surrounded and was brutally beaten by Victor's henchmen.
Oh. Andas perdido, viejito. A esta yo la conozco.
Ya, bueno.
Arizona. Esta puta es de nuestro corral.
Just as things turned dire, the mysterious woman who had been watching from a distance stepped in. She rescued John and brought him to her home to treat his injuries.
Cerebral importante si sabes que está en hospital. Debería estar mejor en un par de días.
A few days later, as John began to recover, he asked the woman who she was. She introduced herself as Carmen, an independent journalist. She explained that she had been investigating the Martinez brothers' criminal operations for a long time. Her younger sister had been one of their victims kidnapped and later found dead from a drug overdose 3 years earlier. Carmen said she had been powerless to stop them. John and Carmen then agreed to work together. John asked her for help locating the place where Gabriella was being held.
The Martinez brothers.
You guys gotta tell me where you think they are. I can't go without you.
There's too many of them. Are you crazy? What?
Just help me, please.
Eventually, John found Gabriella, but her condition was heartbreaking. She was barely conscious, having suffered repeated heroin injections that left her severely overdosed. John carried her back home as fast as he could. During the journey, he returned Gabriella's bracelet taken earlier by Giesel. John shared how raising Gabriella over the past 10 years had been the best thing that ever happened to him. She had given him something he never thought he'd have, a family. With her fading strength, Gabriella apologized for never listening to him. Moments later, she died in his arms.
Gabrielle, I need you to keep your eyes open. You have so much life left. You. Thank you. Like this. Gabrielle, no.
Back home, Maria rushed to greet them, but John stopped her. With great sorrow, he told her that Gabriella had passed away. Both of them were overcome with grief. After Gabriella's burial, John asked Maria to leave the house and stay with her relatives for her own safety. He had already set a plan in motion, a ruthless mission to destroy the Martinez brothers in vengeance.
I want to stay with your sisters.
Will I see you again? I will miss this.
Sometime later, John returned to Mexico and met with Carmen. He told her he was ready to unleash painful retribution for Gabriella's death. His first target was Victor. Once he located him, John swiftly and mercilessly killed him.
I will not help you again.
I see their face, never have life in it again. I want revenge.
Soon after, Victor's brother Hugo discovered the mutilated body. John had deliberately left a clue, his identity, as a challenge, daring Hugo to come find him and face the consequences. John had prepared every trap in advance. Calm and focused, he welcomed them only to send them all to their deaths. The next morning, Hugo and his men arrived at John's ranch. They split up to carry out their assault, but John had prepared every trap in advance. Calm and focused, he welcomed them only to send them all to their deaths, one by one.
Get him! He's all gringo is nothing!
Once all of Hugo's men were dead, John left Hugo for last. He detonated his underground tunnel, leading Hugo toward the exit using a guiding light. Hugo managed to survive the explosion and began hunting for John. But suddenly, a barrage of arrows pierced his body. With his rage at its peak, John finished Hugo off in the most brutal way possible.
This is what it feels like.
Badly wounded, John staggered onto his front porch. He felt devastated, but also fulfilled. Gabriella was gone, but justice, in his own way, had been served.
I've lived in a world of death, a part of my mind and soul, but my heart was still here.